Okay, welcome to the next installment of Blender. So what we're going to be doing today is making some glass effects with text and then making some background stuff as well. So what I'm going to do to begin with is let's go and delete the default cube, and we're going to go ahead and add text and also change the render engine from Eevee to cycles. So once we've got something like this and you've changed your render engine, we're going to go ahead and add a plane, and you would press S for scale, just scale this out, and then we're going to go ahead to add, and we're going to go with text. So you'll notice that the text is currently on its side right here, and what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and press rotate, and we're going to go ahead and go to 90, and then we're going to go with rotate again, and we'll go with 90. So once we've got something like this, we're going to want to put the camera angle to the text itself. So all we need to do is go to view, align view, and then align camera to view, just as such. So now all we need to do is move the text to where we need it to be, which is roughly the center right here. I'm going to go to edit mode, and I'm just going to type in 20 on this side, and then we will amend the base as well once we've got this. So let's go to object mode real quick. We'll press G to bring this up. And then what we're going to do with this, if I just zoom in a little bit, let's go to the A on the side right here, which is the data or data. And we're going to go for geometry. And you just want to go ahead and just pull that offset just a little bit. Not too much that it's distorting, but then you want to press the extrude as well, and this will bring this outwards, as you can see. So once we've got something like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the atom so you guys can see. Hold on one second, let's see. So yeah, okay, so now we can see the 20s right here, and with the extrude I'll just show you again. This is the extrude part. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to let's go with text to begin with. So let's go with font. You want to go in the first folder right here, which opens all the fonts. Now, unfortunately, you can't see them on my screen, but I do have this open at the moment. So go ahead and choose a font from the listings. I might go, you want to go with something a little bit thicker, something that's a little bit together, but it's totally up to you what you'd like. I'm going to go with this one, which is the Frankfurter Vienna. I think that's how you pronounce that. It should be showing up just there, just TT regular, just at the side on the regular font. So you can have that, but to be honest with you, I think the offset for me is just a little bit too much. So I'm going to put that back to 0. So we now have something like this. What I'm going to do is we're going to make this as a glass texture. So let's go to material. We'll go new. You want to switch out the principled BSDF to glass BSDF, and we're going to turn the roughness down. Now, when we go to the render, providing that you have switched this over to from Eevee to cycles, this will work. So now you can see that we have this nice little glass going on in the background. So we're going to take the 20 that we've just made, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of tone to it. So maybe we could go with a nice purple or something like that. Just turn down that roughness just ever so slightly. And now we have something like this. So the lighting is kind of bothering me a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do, let's go to add. We'll go to plane. G to bring this up. And then you can go R for rotate, and you can rotate this at any angle. S for scale. Just make it like a little strip light. Let's go S for scale and just bring this down. I'm going to go with G and bring this across to the back. Just as such. You want to get this so that it's off the camera. Let's take away that transform real quick so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so with this, we're going to go new. Let's go with principled BSDF, switch it out to emission. We're just going to turn the strength up a little bit, just so that we can buffer out some of these shadows as well. So this 20, we can go ahead and we can bring this forward if you wanted to. So just press G. Bring this forward right here, and I'm just going to go and amend it just to the center right here as well. So with these lighting as well, we can go ahead and we can press Shift D, just bring this up, And you could kind of just press G and just bring this across to the front as well. And you can rotate this downwards if you want to. So alpha rotate. Oops, let's get that on there. So you have this nice little lighting up at the back there, depending on what you want to do with it. Something like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this background right here, it's a little bit grey. So what I'm going to do, let's go, this is currently on render. What we need to do, we need this background a little bit further back than what it already is. So if you click on the camera itself and you go to lens, you'll see clip start and clip end. All you want to do is just move the clip end further down. Now if this line doesn't move, it's because it's not long enough. So let's see, I'm going to press S for scale. Let's go ahead, instead of having it just really close to the camera, we're just going to go ahead and just make this bigger. And I'm going to press S for scale just to make this a little bit wider. So now on the render you can see that we have this nice little 20 right here, the lighting's there, and we also have the grey background, but we want to blur this out just slightly, and we also want that nice little fade. So what I'm going to do, let's go to the world settings, change this grey to black. So now we can just barely see the glass right here, but that's fine, because what we're going to do, we're going to put some emissions dropping down at the back here. So let's go ahead and take the 20 for a moment. Just click on your 20. Going to take this, let's go Shift D, bring this down. You're going to want both of these just sat just above each other. And what I'm going to do, let's go to edit mode, and we're going to change this to 26. Just as such. So you can go ahead and pan your camera down if you'd like to, or you could do other things with it as well, but to be honest with you, I'm going to keep it like this. So the next thing that I'm going to do is let's do some emissions in the background. So what we need, let's go to add, we're going to go mesh, plane, let's go G, we'll bring this up just slightly, and all you want to do is make sure that this is at the back. So make sure that it's just off camera. You see that we have this floating right here if I just zoom out. So this is the part that we want to work with, but if we go to view and we go camera, active camera, right, okay, so you can see it just here. You want to make sure that this is not inside of this box. So let's go S for scale. We'll scale this outwards just at the side. And we're just going to have it there. I'm just going to go ahead actually and move this up a little bit. So G, just to move this up. S for scale again. So it's just above the side right there. Now the next thing that I'm going to do, let's go to particles. Let's press plus. And you want emitter rather than hair. So when you press the spacebar, you should, in theory. Let's get this off render first, because otherwise that's going to mess it up a little bit. So in theory you should have something like this falling in the background. So what you want to do, if you want your plane, if you want these little particles to hit the plane and bounce off it, you're going to want to do physics. So let's go physics, and you put this as a collision. So when you put this back at the timeline just here, the first bit of the timeline, you should have something like this, and it will all bounce back up. Totally up to you if you want that. You can have that if you want to. If you don't want that, just press X on the collision and it won't do anything. So with these little balls right here, we're going to need to make these a little bit blurred. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and click the camera right here. We'll go into the data settings for the camera, and what we're going to do is let's go to depth of field. Click the little piece right here just on focus on object, and you've got the little dropper. We're going to go ahead and just select the 2 on the 2026, so you can select anything. You're going to want to go ahead and just lower the f-stop, so you've got something like this. So once you've done this, we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. So because we've lowered that f-stop, you can now see that all of this is in focus, and this has now become blurred in the background. So we also want these little balls as well to become blurred in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. Let's go back to number 1 on the timeline. Let's press G, bring this back. And we're going to try and gauge this, where exactly it's falling. So let's go with G, just bring it up, take that off the camera right there, and S for scale. And then I'm just going to press, let's get this off the render to begin with. And I'm going to press the spacebar right there. So we've got all that little stuff going on in the background. And let's see. So now we should have something like this. Now usually, sometimes these won't blur. But that's okay if you want kind of like, I don't know, some sort of snowfall next to your text or whatever like that. So what you could do actually is bring this forward. So you can press G. And if you brought this forward just behind your little 2026 right here, you could, in theory, let's go back to 1 on the timeline. Just rerun that. Have the balls falling in the background. Totally up to you whether you want that. I think personally they should be a little bit further back, but this is experimentation at the end of the day. So let's go back to 1. I think that would be more palatable. Seems nicer. So if we go into the render right there, we can see that we have the 2026 and stuff. So these little balls that we've got in the background, you can have them as emissions, you can have them as anything that you want. So let's go ahead and go to material. Let's go new, switch out the principal BSDF for glass BSDF if you want glass. You can have little glass ones if you wanted to. Or let's go and switch out glass BSDF for emission. So we now have this in the background. If we just press, we should have the emission coming from the top just to give it that nice little lighting. And I think what we're going to need to do, let's go, let's go with particles, textures. I want to add a new texture, to be honest with you. Let's see. I do believe it's either textures or it's something. Vertex groups. 1 second. I do believe it is actually textures. They should be glass in the background right here, or we could change them to emission. Maybe we could do that. Emission's probably gonna be a nice one. Maybe make them a nice little blue. See, particles, I'm gonna up the particles actually. Might look nicer. And then the physics, maybe we could just lower the physics just ever so slightly. Gravity, we could pull the gravity down if you wanted to. You could have children interpolated. Oh, that's an interesting one when you're experimenting. Interpolated. Are you ready for this? Let's turn this off the render. 1 moment. It's a little bit more. It's totally up to you. You can have display amount, render amount, a little bit more. Let's see. Let's go back to the background. Something like this. You can have clumping as well if you wanted to experiment with clumping. Let's see what happens when we do that. Kind of puts them a little bit more together. Right, so we've got the material, we've got emission, which should be little blue dots. Also, I think this is to do with the particles. To be honest with you, we just need to change the background colour. So material, let's go material. I'm just going to run that simulation again. Okay, so you can have those in the background if you wanted to. Let's go with G and bring this back actually, just to kind of blur them out just a little bit more. Just going to make that ever so bigger Let's go again. Something like this. You want the fall rate up a little bit as well, so let's go with physics. Particles. Alright, so lifetime. Make that lifetime just a little bit better. Lifetime randomness as well. Velocity, you could go ahead and mess with some of the settings on there. I'm just looking at some of the drag here, some of the bold. You could go with wild if you wanted to, just move that down a little bit. So they fall like a little bit more gentler. And there's a little bit more of them. Alright, you also have kink types as well, which is curl, radial, wave, braid. I'll show you the curl. So this is kind of the curl one. It just kind of pulls everything together. Okay, so I might, let's go with lighting again. Just gonna go ahead and just amend the lighting just slightly. So let's make this background right here mirrored. Take the metallic a little bit. Take that roughness upwards. I would say take the roughness upwards just a little bit as well. Yeah. So it kind of looks like stars in the background. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and make some lighting at the base as well. So Shift D, move this down, just underneath, and rotate this so that it's going upwards towards the piece as well. I'm just going to press G and just bring this forward just ever so slightly too, but just out of the camera's reach. And then maybe we could go ahead with this light. I want to see what happens if I delete it. I think it's going to look a lot better. And then I'm going to go ahead and get one of these lights. Let's Shift D. Just move this across the top, just ever so slightly. And maybe we could rotate this so it sits on the side. Let's go G, bring this across. And I'm going to mess with this glass as well, so let's take up the IOR just ever so slightly. When it's ready to do so. And maybe make this a little bit darker as well. You could also pull the roughness if you wanted to make that a little bit lighter as well. So that's kind of like a little tutorial with glass and some emissions and stuff like that. And you've also got the particle system. It's kind of like a little bit of an introduction to the particle system as well for anybody who's new with Blender. Yeah, it didn't really go as I planned it to, but you know, what can you do? It's experimenting at the end of the day. If you guys liked the tutorial, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.